In the previous episode, after days of searching for meaning within the celestial slaughter art, Wang Lin wandered the streets of Hong City, burdened by the weight of his thoughts. As dusk fell, he followed the sound of a sorrowful zither, a melody that stirred his buried memories of Li Muwan. Standing quietly by the riverbank, he relived the loneliness of his past, remembering love, loss, and the unending solitude of his path. That night, beneath the starlight and the fading zither music, Wang Lin's heart softened, but within that quiet sorrow, something inside him began to change. The story continues. Wang Lin walked slowly through the streets of Hong City beneath the dark night sky. Two sergeants followed quietly behind him, exchanging puzzled glances. To them, this man had spent the day wandering aimlessly, staring at the river, lost in thought, and now, even as night had fallen, he still walked without purpose. The city was alive with light, glowing as if night had never come. Yet Wang Lin's eyes were drawn toward a dark district ahead, where tall, cold buildings stood under a shroud of gloom. A heavy air lingered there, filled with death, resentment, and despair. One of the sergeants noticed his gaze and whispered, "That's Hong Prison, one of the 4 great prisons of the capital." Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. "Hong Prison," he murmured. The sergeant explained that it was a place for the most dangerous felons, heavily guarded, and no one could enter or leave without a special token. Wang Lin didn't respond. He simply stared a little longer, sensing several strong demonic auras within, energies as powerful as Mo Lihai himself. After a moment's thought, he turned and headed toward the Mo mansion. When he arrived, he went directly to Mo Lihai's residence. Mo Lihai was in the middle of cultivation but opened his eyes as Wang Lin entered. "I want to go to Hong Prison," Wang Lin said bluntly. "Do you have a way?" Mo Lihai was surprised. He studied Wang Lin, then replied cautiously, "It will be difficult." Wang Lin frowned. "Then forget it." But Mo Lihai smiled faintly. "How long do you plan to stay?" "About a month," Wang Lin replied. Mo Lihai's eyes gleamed. "Cultivating?" Wang Lin nodded. "I need to kill to train my spell. Doing it in the city would cause unnecessary trouble. If I succeed, I can be of even greater help to you." Mo Lihai stood up. "Are you certain?" Wang Lin raised his hand and released 5 strands of gray slaughter energy. They coiled through the air like living dragons and shot toward Mo Lihai. Mo Lihai laughed and threw a single punch. The air trembled, and the dragons shattered, only to reform a heartbeat later. The aura of slaughter filled the mansion, making every guard outside stir with alarm. The 5 dragons roared and lunged again. Mo Lihai's eyes brightened, and he struck once more. His demonic aura formed a shield before him, blocking the energy 7 inches from his chest, but the impact made his barrier shudder violently. Wang Lin said calmly, "If I had 1,000 of these strands, could you still block them so easily?" Mo Lihai's expression grew serious. He could feel it, the strange, dangerous nature of that gray energy. It didn't just strike the body, it disturbed the life force within him. Even 5 strands, not fully unleashed, were sharper than a demonic sword. After a pause, he said decisively, "A month is too long. But 7 days, I can manage that. Hong Prison holds tens of thousands of criminals. That should be enough for you to train. Give me 3 days, and I'll get you a letter for entry." Wang Lin nodded silently and left. When he was gone, Mo Lihai stood in deep thought. He muttered to himself, "I truly can't underestimate him. Trading 13's life for his help was the right choice. If he ever controls over 1,000 strands of that energy, even I would be in danger. Better to remain his ally, not his enemy." Meanwhile, Wang Lin didn't return to his room. Instead, he sat cross-legged in the courtyard under the quiet starlight. The world was silent, but faint zither music drifted through his mind, soft, melancholic, and beautiful. He didn't cultivate that night. He didn't even think about his celestial slaughter art. He simply sat there, listening, letting the music wash over him. Beside him sat a jar of fine wine from the ancient demon city. He took occasional sips as the moonlight fell across his figure, his shadow stretching long and lonely across the ground. He whispered to himself, "I began cultivating the Tao at 16, but I've long forgotten how many years have passed since then. He drank again, wine spilling down his chin. Staring up at the stars, he murmured, "Cultivators walk against the heavens, and are destined to be alone." The soft music lingered, echoing the loneliness in his heart. To be lonely is to have the heart to seek the Tao. He said, "But how many can truly endure this loneliness? Like this wine, it burns the mouth, yet warms the heart." He took another deep drink. Those who cultivate for 10,000 years, how do they bear it? If one's heart is without emotion, they're not following the Tao of heaven, they're following their own emptiness. The heavens are unkind, but if a cultivator also becomes unkind, then he's no longer defying the heavens, he's obeying them. To follow the heavens is to be an insect. I will walk against the heavens, not to become immortal, but to cease being an insect. That is rebellion. He drained the jar and flung it aside. It shattered, echoing softly under the moonlight. When dawn came, Wang Lin opened his eyes. He had been drunk, not only on wine, but on his own thoughts, his emotions, and the sorrow buried deep in his heart. Over the next 3 days, Wang Lin didn't cultivate. Each morning, he went to the riverside, waiting for the brief moment when that same zither music would drift across the water. The music was melancholy, filled with longing. He listened, and through it, he gained a quiet enlightenment. The woman on the boat who played the zither never knew someone was listening so intently. Yet each day, when she passed that spot, she felt her sadness deepen, and her sorrow poured through her music. Those 3 days were peaceful for Wang Lin, free from battle, ambition, and fear. He forgot Tuo Senator, forgot his agreement with Mo Lihai, forgot even his pursuit of ascension. The zither music and wine cleansed his heart. He never tried to see the woman's face. Her music alone was enough. When the 3rd day came, and Mo Lihai had finished arranging his entry into Hong prison, Wang Lin finally stood up and turned away from the river. At that moment, the woman, Ming Zan, turned on her boat and looked toward the shore. Through the mist and darkness, she caught a glimpse of his fading figure. A calm male voice behind her said, "Ming Zan, what are you looking at?" Her hands trembled over the strings. The zither fell silent. That voice, cold and commanding, was one she could not defy. "Your music is too sad," the man said. "The guests want something more cheerful." She hesitated, then began to play again. The notes turned bright and lively, yet within that forced cheerfulness hid a sorrow deeper than before. Though the tune was joyful, beneath it was a cry no one could hear, a silent, bitter pain masked behind a smile. As the boat drifted away, the music faded, leaving only the ripples spreading slowly across the river. The cheerful yet sorrowful zither music echoed faintly behind him. But Wang Lin did not turn back. He paused for only a heartbeat before continuing to walk away beneath the silver glow of the full moon. The moonlight draped over Sky Demon City like a soft, silken veil. Moments later, 2 shadows silently emerged outside the Mo mansion, Wang Lin and Mo Lihai. With a flash, both figures vanished into the night, speeding across rooftops toward Hong prison. Even from afar, the aura surrounding the prison was terrifying. The air was thick with killing intent and resentment, forming a dark flame that seemed to burn endlessly into the sky. When they landed before the towering black iron gates of Hong prison, a narrow crack opened. A hunched, grim-faced man stepped out. He said nothing, merely waved his hand, and turned back inside. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed slightly. He could sense that this man's cultivation was as powerful as Mo Lihai's. Both were at the peak of late-stage soul transformation. Without hesitation, Mo Lihai entered through the gap, and Wang Lin followed. Inside, the hunchbacked man's voice was cold. "This is the one you spoke of?" Mo Lihai nodded. "Yes, the rest will depend on you, Brother Shu." The man named Shu simply nodded. "You can leave, I'll take him from here." Mo Lihai turned to Wang Lin and said softly, "Brother Wang, take care. I hope your cultivation bears fruit." Then, with a flicker of light, he vanished. Shu glanced at Wang Lin. "Your name?" "Wang Lin." "Follow me." And without another word, the warden of Hong prison led him inside. As they descended deeper, the air grew heavier. The killing intent was so dense that it felt almost tangible. Shu seemed to enjoy the suffocating aura. But he kept stealing glances at Wang Lin, astonished to see him completely calm. The deeper they went, the stronger the pressure became, until faint screams and roars could be heard echoing from below. Shu slowed his pace, watching Wang Lin carefully. Even the most seasoned demon generals would feel discomfort here. Yet Wang Lin walked as if strolling through a garden, serene, unshaken, and strangely in tune with the environment. Shu's curiosity deepened. He could sense that this man was different, dangerously different. The staircase spiraled endlessly downward, dimly lit by flickering ghostly flames. When they finally reached the bottom, an immense underground prison spread before them like a vast, iron labyrinth. Thousands of cells lined the walls, filled with echoes of roars, curses, and mad laughter. Quiet, Shu barked. Instantly, the noise stopped. Silence pressed down like a physical weight. Shu led Wang Lin to a black stone house at the entrance of the cell block and turned with a grotesque smile. Brother Wang, this section belongs to me. Every prisoner here is marked for execution before the year ends. You may kill as many as you wish. No one will interfere. Wang Lin clasped his hands. Many thanks. Shu chuckled hoarsely. Thank Mo Lihai, not me. He paid dearly, offering me the first 3 levels of the 10 collapse fist intent, to grant you entry. Then, with a knowing smirk, he disappeared into the black house. Wang Lin stood there in silence, murmuring, the first 3 levels of the 10 collapse fist intent. Mo Lihai truly paid a high price. He stepped into the prison corridor. Rows upon rows of cages surrounded him, their bars slick with rust and blood. As he passed, crazed inmates shouted and clawed toward him through the iron bars. Hey, new blood, come closer. Let me touch that delicate skin. You look just like the woman I killed before I came here. Foreigner, I loved killing your kind the most. Blood-red eyes glared at him from the shadows. The madness, resentment, and despair that had festered for years clung to the air like poison. Wang Lin's gaze was cold. These people weren't born this way. They had been broken by the endless confinement and the corrupting aura of the prison. Suddenly, a dark-skinned prisoner sneered and spat at him. Wang Lin sidestepped effortlessly, his face expressionless. The man laughed mockingly, until Wang Lin smiled. That faint smile made the man's heart tremble. It wasn't human. It was the smile of something far more terrifying. Come, Wang Lin said softly, extending his hand toward the cage. The man hesitated, then, urged on by the jeers of others, lashed out, clawing at Wang Lin's hand. But before he could react, Wang Lin's right hand became a sword. A single strand of gray slaughter energy shot into the man's body. The prisoner froze, convulsing violently. Black blood poured from his orifices as he screamed in agony. Within seconds, his body shriveled into a dry husk. All life drained away. The surrounding cells fell silent. Even the most deranged prisoners stared in horror. The mummy's mouth hung open, spewing gray mist that drifted back into Wang Lin's palm. The energy was thicker now, but Wang Lin frowned. Still only 1 strand. He realized that killing nourished the energy, but did not multiply it. Something was missing. Something he had yet to comprehend. He continued his grim work. Cell by cell, prisoners screamed, cursed, begged, but one by one, they all fell. Each death brought him closer to understanding. Yet that elusive insight stayed just beyond reach, hidden behind a veil of mist. After 5 days, more than half of the prisoners were dead. The air was heavy with death, the ground soaked in despair. Wang Lin stood among the corpses, silent, his mind deep in thought. What am I missing? A voice answered from the shadows. You haven't killed enough. The man named Shu emerged, his expression cold. Your urge to kill isn't strong enough. Wang Lin looked up. Shu continued, I can tell your cultivation relates to slaughter. But you chose the wrong place. These men, they want to die. Killing them won't give birth to true murderous intent. You analyze too much. Sometimes, comprehension doesn't come from thought, it comes from drowning in slaughter. From losing yourself in it, until you awaken the killing heart. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, intrigued. Shu's voice deepened. I cultivate the demon slaughter Tao. There are 10 wardens here. But only I follow this path. I use slaughter to refine my heart, to become a demon. Watch closely, and feel my killing heart. In an instant, Shu's aura changed. His expression didn't. His body didn't move, but Wang Lin's soul trembled. There was no visible killing intent. Yet the danger was overwhelming. It was as if Shu had become an unsheathed sword, silent, but ready to kill. Shu said calmly, "A sheathed sword is sharp but restrained. The true killing heart is an unsheathed blade, unhidden, unbound. If you wish to cultivate slaughter, I can take you somewhere you will experience real killing." Condition, Wang Lin said simply. Shu's lips curled into a thin smile. "Help me kill a demon general named Shi Xiao. I cannot leave this place. And he will never enter it. Kill him for me, with your slaughter art, and I will teach you everything." His eyes burned with hatred. "If my cultivation can reach completion through it," Wang Lin replied evenly, "then I accept." "Good," Shu said with satisfaction. "Follow me." He turned and led Wang Lin deeper underground. "The prisons you've seen are only the surface. The true purpose of Hong Prison, and the other 3 in Sky Demon City, is to feed killing intent to the Demon Emperor's sword. What lies below is where you will find the purest essence of slaughter." They descended another endless stairway. The air grew thicker, the smell of blood stronger with every step. Soon, the darkness ahead turned crimson, illuminated by a dim, blood-colored light. Shu's voice was low and grave. "I am breaking the rules by bringing you here. You must tell no one, not even Mo Lihai. This place was built by the Demon Emperor himself. The killing intent here can erode the mind. Do not resist it, accept it. Feel it, let it enter your heart." Wang Lin closed his eyes for a moment, sensing the overwhelming murderous aura surging below. Even before he reached the bottom, the strands of gray energy on his fingers began to tremble, not from fear, but from excitement. Their hunger was alive. With calm determination, Wang Lin stepped forward into the blood-red light, descending into the abyss where true slaughter awaited him. Wang Lin's mind was sharp and cautious. He never fully trusted the man named Shu. Of everything Shu had said, he only believed a small part. But when he felt the trembling of the slaughter energy in his body, he decided to go deeper. That vibration, that faint pull of resonance, convinced him that this place would help him master the celestial slaughter art. Without hesitation, he stepped into the depths of the prison. The stairway seemed endless, and the further he descended, the stronger the bloody light became. After what felt like an incense stick's time, he finally reached the bottom, a vast, crimson world. The air was thick with the stench of iron and death. The entire ground was stained with dried, dark blood, and blood pools stretched as far as his eyes could see. Inside each pool were cultivators sitting cross-legged, their bodies covered in hideous wounds that pulsed strangely as they cultivated. The moment Wang Lin stepped into this place, the 5 strands of slaughter energy around him flew out, circling excitedly as if they had finally returned home. Breathing deeply, he felt the killing intent of this scarlet realm flow into his lungs, spreading through his body like fire. His eyes gleamed red under the glow of the bloody light. He moved toward one of the blood pools and, after a moment of hesitation, sat down cross-legged inside it. The thick, viscous liquid rose to his chest, burning cold against his skin. At once, waves of killing intent surged into him, flowing through his meridians, merging with his essence. With every breath, the blood energy grew denser. With every heartbeat, the urge to kill grew stronger. At first, Wang Lin resisted, stabilizing himself with celestial spiritual energy. But then, realizing resistance would hold him back, he released all restraint. He sealed his mind and allowed the killing intent to flood every part of his being. He didn't know how much time passed before he suddenly felt the air around him tremble. All at once, the cultivators within the other blood pools opened their eyes. A horrifying red glow shone from them, and killing intent erupted like a storm. The scarlet world exploded with madness. One after another, the cultivators leapt from the blood pools into the air, roaring with bloodthirsty fury. Kill! 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 Their voices merged into a deafening chorus of slaughter. Immediately, chaos engulfed the realm. Every person attacked the nearest target. Blood and energy filled the air as thousands fought to the death. In the middle of this madness, Wang Lin's eyes glowed completely red. His consciousness was locked. Reason had vanished. He was no longer Wang Lin the cultivator, he was a vessel of slaughter. He roared like a wild beast and shot into the air. Every technique he knew, every weapon and spell, burst forth in a frenzy of destruction. His fingers became blades, his energy strikes shattered bodies. He tore through the crowd like a blood-colored storm. Everywhere he went, people fell, their screams filled the air, and blood rained down like crimson mist. Yet those who died did not truly perish, the formation of this place revived them in the blood pools. They were trapped in an endless cycle of death and rebirth, existing only to fuel the energy of slaughter. The killing intent condensed above them like clouds. It was absorbed by the heavens, disappearing without a trace, feeding some ancient, unseen purpose. After a long, endless cycle of carnage, the slaughter gradually ceased. From nearly 1,000 cultivators, only a little more than 100 remained standing. Each survivor was shrouded in a dense blood mist, 3 feet thick, that pulsed with living energy. No one spoke. Their eyes, completely bloodshot, were devoid of thought. Without a word, they drifted apart, each finding a new pool of blood. As the newly revived cultivators scattered away in fear, Wang Lin entered one of the pools. The dozen who had been there left quickly, their eyes showing a hint of respect, an instinctive acknowledgement of his dominance. Sitting cross-legged once again, Wang Lin closed his eyes. Slowly, clarity returned to him, the crimson faded from his gaze, and he exhaled deeply. He now understood something crucial. The killing heart Shu spoke of, it was the heart of slaughter itself. Only by embracing slaughter completely, by allowing it to merge with his will, could he refine true slaughter energy. Without a killing heart, everything he achieved before was just surface-level imitation, mere coincidence. Determined, Wang Lin closed his eyes again, sinking deeper into meditation within the blood pool. The heavy air pulsed with killing intent, and soon, another wave of madness began. Again, the cultivators rose. Again, the cries of battle filled the sky. The slaughter repeated, day after day. By the end of one full day, 4 cycles of massacre had occurred. Wang Lin fought until the very last round. Drenched in blood, his blood mist now several dozen feet wide. Yet compared to others, he was still not the strongest. Among them stood one figure, a black-haired young man whose blood mist extended more than 100 feet. He floated in the air like a king born from blood, emanating overwhelming dominance. As the final slaughter of the day ended, the king-like figure suddenly raised his head and let out a thunderous roar. His blood mist churned violently, surging toward the sky. Then, in that moment, a flash of silver lightning tore across the heavens. A massive silver dragon appeared, its cold eyes scanning the blood-soaked battlefield. With a single, deep inhale, the dragon sucked in the sky itself. The blood mist surrounding every survivor, including Wang Lin, was pulled away, drawn into the dragon's mouth. The black-haired man roared in defiance, soaring upward to strike the beast, but before he could even reach 1,000 feet, the dragon turned its gaze toward him. One cold look, and his body shattered into dust. His blood mist dispersed and was instantly devoured. Then, just as suddenly as it came, the silver dragon vanished, leaving behind only silence, the faint stench of blood, and the lingering echo of slaughter. As the silver dragon vanished into the void, Wang Lin's eyes flashed with sudden clarity. In that instant, he understood, the silver dragon was not a beast, but the very demon emperor's sword Shu had spoken of. The entire scarlet world beneath Sky Demon City existed for one purpose, to feed this sword. The endless killing and rebirth of the cultivators here produced slaughter energy. And that energy was the demon sword's nourishment. Even the black-haired youth, whose blood mist had once shone like a bloody sun, was just a pawn in this grand design. Though he had been obliterated by the dragon, his body soon reformed in a blood pool. Stripped of his power, his blood mist was gone, forcing him to begin his bloody ascent once again. After the day's slaughter ended, a strange calm settled over the crimson world. Wang Lin sat motionless in the pool of blood, his body soaking in the dense, iron-scented liquid as his mind dove deeper into thought. When I first learned the celestial slaughter art, he murmured to himself, that person told me that only because I cultivated the life and death aura could I truly grasp this art. Now, I finally understand why. Killing intent continued to seep into him from the blood pool, like dark tendrils of smoke weaving into his veins. Yet even as he absorbed it, questions lingered. How exactly was this art connected to his life and death domain? What was the hidden link between slaughter and reincarnation? Night passed quietly. Then, as the next day began, the endless massacre started anew. Wang Lin threw himself into it without hesitation. He had long lost track of time. Each battle, each scream, each drop of blood brought him closer to understanding the essence of slaughter. His movements became faster, more efficient. Every strike he made was fatal. At first, more than 100 cultivators survived each round of battle. But as the slaughter continued, fewer and fewer remained. Now, when Wang Lin moved, a single finger was enough to end a life. By the time the day ended, fewer than 50 cultivators were still alive, their eyes wild with bloodlust. As they retreated to their separate blood pools, Wang Lin sat alone once again, surrounded by a blood mist that had grown to 50 feet wide. It pulsed and writhed around him like a living creature. Days, perhaps weeks, passed. The slaughter cycles blurred together. Wang Lin's reason flickered in and out of existence. But deep within, his understanding grew. He had begun to fuse his celestial slaughter art with the life and death aura. His body protected by 5 glowing life seals that acted as shields of vitality. Without them, he knew he would have perished long ago. Another day came. Another round of slaughter ended, and now, only 2 figures remained standing in the air. One was Wang Lin, his entire body wrapped in a massive, blood-red mist that stretched hundreds of feet in every direction. From afar, he looked like a burning sun made of blood. Before him floated the black-haired youth, his old rival. That man had once again clawed his way back to the top. His blood mist was just as vast, maybe even stronger than Wang Lin's. Then, with a thunderous crack, the silver light returned. The silver dragon appeared once more, descending from the sky like a god of judgment. Its cold eyes swept across the 2 survivors before opening its jaws to inhale. The black-haired youth roared defiantly, rushing forward with all his might. But the dragon only looked down with disdain. One massive claw descended from the heavens. The sky trembled. Explosion after explosion erupted from within the youth's body. In moments, he was reduced to fragments of flesh and blood, but just before his body disintegrated completely, a faint trace of blood mist rushed into him, merging with his broken form. Then he was gone, reborn once again in the blood pool below, silent, powerless, and defeated. Now, the dragon's cold gaze turned toward Wang Lin. But Wang Lin didn't resist. Without fear, he released his blood mist willingly, allowing the dragon to devour it. When it had consumed enough, the creature vanished once more, leaving only silence and the endless crimson pools. Wang Lin slowly descended back to the ground. His eyes were calm and clear, his expression composed, as he gazed at the place where the silver dragon had disappeared. A faint smile tugged at his lips. He stepped into a nearby blood pool. The others quickly fled, instinctively sensing something terrifying from him. Alone, Wang Lin sat cross-legged. The clarity in his eyes deepened, and his smile widened, until suddenly, laughter burst from his chest. His laughter echoed through the Scarlet World, wild and free, reverberating off the walls like a madman's song. But no one cared. The others remained lost in their cultivation, desperate to survive. Celestial slaughter art, he whispered between his laughter. To slaughter life in order to create life seals. Death transformed into life. It is reincarnation itself. The endless cycle where death gives birth to new existence. Understanding dawned. The celestial slaughter art wasn't just about killing, it was about the balance of life and death. The eternal transformation of the soul. Even the silver dragon, the demon sword, was practicing the same law. Devouring death to sustain its own vitality. Everything in this realm followed that same principle. At that moment, the 5 strands of slaughter energy floating around Wang Lin erupted. They gathered before his chest. twisting into a massive gray vortex that spun faster and faster before sinking into his body. An overwhelming aura burst forth, a killing intent so vast and ancient that the entire Scarlet World trembled under its pressure. Every cultivator opened their eyes and turned toward Wang Lin in fear. The air itself seemed to freeze. Slaughter aura, Wang Lin's voice echoed like thunder across the crimson heavens. As his celestial slaughter art erupted, the nearby blood pools began to explode one after another. The cultivators who had died and been reborn countless times were obliterated in an instant, their bodies disintegrating into gray mist, pure slaughter energy. Dozens of strands, then hundreds, nearly 100 streams of gray energy swirled around him like spectral ghosts. But it did not stop there. The energy spread outward, and all across the Scarlet World. The same thing happened. Countless cultivators exploded, their long-suffering souls finally freed. Their eyes, clear for the first time in centuries, held only relief as they faded into nothingness. The Scarlet World began to collapse. The rivers of blood boiled, the pools dried, and all that remained was a storm of gray mist converging around Wang Lin. When it finally settled, 3.792 strands of slaughter energy floated around his body. Only two figures still existed within that dying world, Wang Lin, and the black-haired youth who had somehow survived the devastation. Then, lightning cracked across the sky once more. The silver dragon reappeared, its gaze cold and merciless, filled with killing intent. It looked down upon Wang Lin. The moment the silver dragon reappeared, its eyes burned with fury. It glared down at Wang Lin, letting out a deafening roar that made the entire Scarlet World tremble. Then, with overwhelming power, the dragon raised its massive claw and brought it down like the fall of heaven itself. The air warped under its pressure, and the aura it released was suffocating. But Wang Lin didn't retreat. He raised his head, his gaze calm and cold. He had faced this dragon countless times in the past days and had come to understand its strength. Without moving an inch, he released all 3.792 strands of slaughter energy, each one pulsing with a monstrous killing intent that could pierce the heavens. The combined force of those thousands of slaughter strands collided head-on with the dragon's claw. A thunderous explosion shook the crimson world, and to the dragon's shock, its claw shattered into fragments of silver light. The silver dragon roared again, this time not out of pain, but rage. In its countless years of existence, it had suffered wounds before, but never from an ant, never from food. Its pride as the Emperor's sword, the weapon of the demon Emperor himself, could not tolerate such humiliation. Its body surged with power as it roared once more. A sharp ray of sword energy began to form in its mouth. The world around it quaked and dimmed until that sword energy became the only light left, the embodiment of destruction itself. The silver dragon unleashed the strike. The sword energy cut through the void, aiming straight for Wang Lin. But instead of confronting it directly, Wang Lin's body moved like lightning. He didn't fight, he turned and fled toward the entrance of the Scarlet World. As he moved, the 3.792 strands of slaughter energy followed him, fusing one by one into life seals that imprinted across his body like glowing tattoos of gray light. In an instant, over 3,000 life seals covered him, forming layers of protective force that wrapped around his body like living armor. The dragon's sword energy caught up with him. A deafening crack echoed as it struck Wang Lin's back. His life seals flared, flashing wildly and breaking one after another. But Wang Lin didn't stop. The force of the strike drove him forward, and in the next heartbeat, he broke through the entrance and vanished from the Scarlet World. At that same moment, behind him, the black-haired youth who had once fought alongside and against him raised his head weakly from a blood pool. His voice, soft and desperate, whispered, "Save me, just once." But Wang Lin was already gone. The silver dragon's fury reached its peak. Its sure kill strike had failed. The food it had sought to devour had escaped. That was the greatest insult imaginable for the Emperor's sword. With a furious roar, its body blurred and disappeared from the Scarlet World. Far away, in the imperial palace of Sky Demon City, the Sword Pavilion, a grand hall that held a single, enormous serpentine sword embedded in a blood-red formation, suddenly began to tremble. The sword released a series of piercing sword hymns before bursting free, shooting into the sky in a streak of silver light. The entire city felt its presence. Commanders, demon generals, and nobles all turned their eyes toward the heavens. A middle-aged man in a white robe, his eyes filled with astonishment, muttered, "Who provoked the Emperor's sword to leave the formation?" In another manner, Demon General Shi Shao stood beneath the glowing night sky, his expression grave. The Emperor's sword, left on its own. Something extraordinary must have happened. In the distant universe city, a black-haired man watched the same silver light from his courtyard. His face was half hidden in shadow, but his tone was calm as he asked, "This is the Emperor's sword's wrath. What do you think of its power?" Two sword-bearing men behind him exchanged a glance. One replied slowly, "It isn't any weaker than Master's sword." The black-haired man turned, revealing a strikingly handsome face, the same face as the black-haired youth from the Scarlet World. He was Mo Fei, the #1 demon general, stationed near the Fire Demon country. Elsewhere, in the Mo mansion, Mo Lihai stared at the silver light streaking toward Hong prison. A chill ran through his heart. The Emperor's sword, it couldn't possibly be going after Wang Lin, he muttered. He shook his head immediately, dismissing the thought, but deep down, a terrible premonition stirred. Meanwhile, within the royal palace, a man wearing royal robes smiled faintly as he gazed at the same spectacle. "It seems my Emperor's sword has been wronged. I haven't seen it this furious in ages. Interesting." His consort, an enchanting woman, asked softly, "Your Majesty, what makes you so amused?" But he only smiled in silence. At that moment, far below the heavens, Wang Lin raced up the endless stone stairs of Hong prison. His blood boiled within his veins, and his body trembled from the residual force of the dragon's sword strike. Though his life seals had protected him, their sacrifice had left him weakened. When he finally reached the top, he found the man named Shu standing there, looking toward the sky with a troubled expression. "This situation," Shu murmured, "has gotten out of control." Wang Lin appeared before him in a flash, and Shu's eyes widened. He exhaled sharply, then said in a low, urgent voice, "You can't leave from here. Follow me, quickly." Without hesitation, Shu leapt toward a side passage, and Wang Lin followed. Even as they moved, Wang Lin could feel it, the silver dragon's presence, racing across the horizon, drawing closer at unimaginable speed. The mere pressure of its sword aura made his scalp tingle. They vanished into the twisting passages of Hong prison. Moments later, the Emperor's sword arrived, smashing through the prison gates with one blow. Its roar echoed like thunder as it searched wildly for the food that had dared to defy it. Elsewhere in Hong City, a section of a wall opened silently, and Wang Lin stepped out. Shu remained behind the wall and sighed deeply. "Don't forget our agreement," he said quickly, before the wall closed once again. Then, in a low voice, Shu muttered to himself, "If I had known he'd provoke the Emperor's sword, I would never have sent him there." Wang Lin, meanwhile, concealed his aura completely and moved swiftly through the streets. From behind him came the distant sound of devastation, walls collapsing, energy exploding, the furious hymn of the Emperor's sword shaking the night. He made his way to the Mo mansion. Mo Lihai, already standing in the courtyard, spotted him instantly. Seeing the way Wang Lin hid his presence, Mo Lihai understood everything. With a resigned sigh, he gestured toward a fake mountain and struck it with his palm, revealing a hidden chamber. "This is my secluded cultivation room," Mo Lihai said quietly. "Hide here for now." Wang Lin nodded silently and entered. Mo Lihai sealed the entrance and sat down to meditate, pretending nothing was amiss. That night, Sky Demon City did not sleep. The silver light of the Emperor's sword covered the entire city as it searched in madness and fury. Unable to find Wang Lin, it tore through Hong prison again and again. Venting its rage, Mo Lihai continuously used his demonic spiritual energy to mask Wang Lin's aura, making sure the sword would sense nothing. Even when the sword passed overhead, it failed to detect him. In truth, even if it searched more carefully, it would still not find him, because Wang Lin was already inside the heaven-defying bead, sitting quietly before Li Muwan's nascent soul. hidden beyond mortal perception. The Emperor's sword raged through the night, its fury unending. By dawn, still unable to locate its prey, it released a final, furious sword hymn. It unleashed a single strike toward Hong Prison, carving a massive rift 1,000 feet long across the ground. Then, finally, the Emperor's sword returned to its blood formation, still seething, still humiliated. From that day on, whenever Hong Prison was rebuilt, the Emperor's sword would descend again and destroy it, unable to let go of its grievance. And that brings us to the end of this episode, a powerful turning point in Wang Lin's cultivation and fate. From the moment he stepped into the Scarlet Realm, Wang Lin was drawn into a world ruled by slaughter and despair. Surrounded by endless killing intent and trapped among ancient wills, he faced trials that would shatter ordinary souls. Yet, through pain and defiance, he began to understand the true essence of the celestial slaughter art, the balance between life and death, destruction and creation. Each battle, each wound, and each moment of near death carved enlightenment into his heart. The slaughter energy became not a curse, but a path, a force that fused with his will, making him stronger than ever before. But his growth came with consequences. His defiance awakened something unimaginable, the Emperor's sword, a divine weapon in the form of a silver dragon. Filled with boundless rage, its pride wounded, it tore through the heavens and the city below, searching for the food that had dared to resist it. Wang Lin's escape from the dragon's wrath turned the entire Sky Demon City into chaos. The night was filled with silver light, destruction, and fear. Yet even as the Emperor's sword raged, Wang Lin endured once again, hidden, silent, unbroken. This episode marks more than a victory of survival. It is the awakening of a cultivator who stands on the edge of mortality and divinity, a man whose willpower can shake the heavens themselves. And as dawn breaks over the Sky Demon City, the storm may fade, but the path Wang Lin walks has only just begun.